But those are called shatterbacks, right? The one that the shatter backboards is Ramon Foster, and Brett 11 is the one that Zach Banner got. Those are huge. Size 18. I wear a 9, so I just need one. All right, I got a tweet here, Andrew. Michael Andreski, Charleroi and Mike just tweeted me. Lagging injuries are frustrating. Think about your attitude on the golf course when you're not feeling well. I can feel that. Yeah, when I'm not feeling well, I don't play well. So I don't know how I think that plays into a professional athlete. I try to use golf as an analogy all the time with these guys. I think it's going to affect Juju. I don't expect him to have a huge game or be much of an impact.
Well, I think the quarterback's in the same spot now. And everything, not that it was coming
because it's like he hit like 5 duck hooks in a row. Well, no pun intended.
Yeah, it's not like it came like simple to him, but he was having a lot of success.
Yeah.
And he became kind of a celebrity overnight.
Yeah.
And I think the Bills humbled him. Now you could say great defense, but a lot of those interceptions I thought were not unforced errors, but were bad decisions that were more about him than the defensive play.
I thought he was very inaccurate. I mean, tell me if you think I'm wrong, but that's the one thing I thought got him to where he was. He was an accurate quarterback. All his throws were off by a couple yards here or there.
Yeah.
That's what I noticed, but
well, I think they're in trouble, and I think their saving grace is this, Richie. I think the Buccaneers will beat the Texans, but I think the Titans are going to beat the Saints.
Oh, you do?
But with the Houston loss, they're going to have to play an AFC South championship game in Week 17.
And then the Steelers would get in. Because I think if the Steelers lose this game, they don't get in because I think both teams could lose to the NFC game.
Well, that would be a bad situation.
Yes, it would be because then the Steelers would need Tennessee to lose again. They would need to lose twice.
If Houston and Tennessee lose, Houston can bench their starters.
Yes. Yeah.
Oh, man.
And that would be a disaster for the Steelers.
Because I think the Steelers will beat the Ravens' backups. I don't think Robert Griffin III scored.
What if the Browns beat the Ravens?
Not happening.
I don't think that's going to happen.
Not happening.
Ray might not agree, but I don't think it's going to happen. All right, we have 1 minute left. Let's get out Jim South Hills real quick, Jim.
Yeah, I was just going to ask you the question you just answered. Could you break down the scenario for the Steelers making the playoffs?
Yeah, you just want the Steelers to win the next 2. If they lose the Jets, it's going to be pretty tricky for them to get in. They're going to need the Titans to lose the next 2 because the Titans have an NFC game, and then they would have the AFC tiebreak. Not the AFC tiebreaker, but the next tiebreaker, which is the strength of victory over the Steelers, because the Steelers and the Titans would have the same AFC record. So, and then if Houston loses to the Bucs, then potentially it would be getting really crazy. So you need the Steelers to win this game.
I don't think Bell is going to have a big game.
I don't either.
But I think the Jets' run defense is going to force the Steelers' offense into some bad decisions.
Yeah, I'm picking the Steelers to win a close, low-scoring game.
They're all low-scoring.
Well, yeah, of course.
Way to go out on a limb.
Wait. All right, that's it for us. Thanks for watching. For Andrew, I'm Rich. Make sure you make the switch over to KDK News right now.